Hello everybody. Welcome to the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Sally Wantz, and it's my pleasure to be your service leader today. During this time of so much remoteness, we couldn't be with you today if it weren't for the fabulous foofers who volunteered their time. We have Ray Plummery on sound, we've got Jim McDermott behind the camera, and Jay Gutler who pulls it all together to create this video. Catherine Hemmons is here to do our joys and concerns, and Brooke Schaefer is going to help us light and extinguish our chalice. So thank you for zooming in on everybody, Jim. So at this time I ask that we get ready. We're going to sing Spirit of Life. This is a rendition that was recorded by Jeff Lovejoy, and I invite Brooke and Catherine and anybody else to sing Spirit of Life with us. Come on forward and let's sing it. Woo! That's how we start, right?
Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirs of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Yes. Another opening to another fabulous Sunday service. So we have a few announcements. The first is today, Sunday, the 27th, at noon, weather permitting. We're going to have a gathering in our backyard. You are welcome to wear your mask or face shield, bring a chair, bring a beverage, bring a snack, and let's gather around and meet and greet each other and share what's important in our lives. Deb Larson will be conducting an animal blessing program for us on October 4th. That's Sunday, October 4th. She will be doing a drive-by blessing. So bring all your pets. I know, a drive-by blessing.
Yeah.
Is that like the drive-by Elvis in Las Vegas and the drive-by churches where you can get married? Just drive-by honk and you get blessed. So bring your animals in your car, drive by from 2 to 3, Sunday, October 4th. Be sure you to listen to her message prior to that, okay? And Mark Levy is still looking for a few good folks for his program called The Healing Power of Humor. It's a Zoom class to address the need for humor as a survival skill. So contact Mark at marklevymusic.com. Classes start October 6th. And we are pleased to let you know we have confirmed our new minister, Reverend Elizabeth Mount, will be with us here, live and in person. She's driving cross country and she will be with us October 17th. It's a Saturday. We'll do a meet and greet in the backyard. And if it's raining and the weather's crummy, we'll do the meet and greet the next day. But she will also be meeting with the program and the board as well as the member care committees so we can start to bond and come together. So there will be a limited access dinner that night on the 17th at Florence Golf Links. We will let you know how many seats are available, 6 feet apart, all of that good stuff. It's limited seating, but we'll let you know. Board meeting October 14th at 3:30 via Zoom. So, having breezed through all those announcements, is there anything else? Anybody else know of any other announcements? Brooke, Jim? Okay. So at this time, I'm going to invite Brooke Schaefer to come forward to light the flame of our chalice as you light your own candle at home. The words I'm going to share with you come from Maureen Killoran in honor of Yom Kippur that begins a few minutes after sunset today, the 27th, and ends at nightfall on the 28th. This is the Day of Atonement, the holiest day of the year. For every time we make a mistake and we decide to start again, we light this chalice. For every time we are lonely and we let someone be our friend, we light this chalice. For every time we are disappointed and we choose to hope, we light this chalice. Blessed be everyone. I invite Catherine Hemmett to come forward to share our joys and concerns. Remember, I have one I want to share, so don't let me go too fast, okay, or go too far. Okay. I'll drop the stones, though.
Good morning, everyone. Sally will drop the shell as we begin our joys and concerns. We do this to maintain the connection that we have. I mean, we have it even though we're not sitting in these seats. We have it because we are all one, we are of one mind, and I believe we are of one heart. And so today, Sally, the first, how about two?
Two?
We're going to put two in because it was a concern that turned into a joy.
Okay, oh, two, yes.
Lori Fox. So we heard about the middle of the week, I got a phone call that Lori Fox was in ICU, there was an infection, it was pretty dire. You know, ICU, nobody can come and visit, or I guess one person can. But none of us could really get in, anything like that. So within like what, 2-3 days, Ray, something like that, today I get an email that she is going to be home, she is going to be released, she is out of ICU.
Excellent.
And so, you know,
Yay!
those of us who knew about it and just put a word out there to the universe, it worked. It works. I'd like an ongoing shell.
What does that look like? An ongoing, this is an ongoing shell. Okay.
For Bruce Kelly in his ongoing journey, you know, his legacy. His legacy that he is, well, I don't know if I want to call it brave, because it's beyond that. It's just himself. It's just his natural being that is going forward with his own legacy of dying with dignity. He's an amazing person. I watched a taping of a talk that we will see sometime later in the month.
October 25th.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. And I'm grateful for him in my life, and we're grateful for him in our Foof life.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, I wanted, before Sally's going to come up here, right, and do a
Yes.
joy.
Yes.
I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going, you know, Brooke is here today. And I've been wanting to say this, that I really encourage other people to come and participate like she did with the chalice lighting, if you want to do joys and concerns or any other part. Maybe it's time that we start filling these few chairs, you know? We can have a half a dozen people in here.
We can have 3 more people.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay? And I really encourage that. So that's a joy. I want to put a shell in there because that would be a joy that we could really do that.
Yes.
And be more here. And Sally?
Oh. So I have a joy. At my 50th high school reunion, which was in 2017, I met up with my high school friends that I hadn't seen for many, many, many years. And since then, we've been traveling together around the country and over to the Turks and Caicos. We went over to England. And 3 of them are coming to visit me next week, and they're going to spend time here in Florence. So I've got Linda, Christy, and Kathy, and Mary Kay coming to visit. And we're going to be staying down on Bay Street. And watch out, Florence, because these 5 grannies in Florence are going to rip it up. So my big joy is I've got girlfriends coming to visit, and we're just going to have a good time. So I'm going to drop a shell.
And just to remind you, if anyone has any joys or concerns they would like me to share during this taping, please put an email to the FOOF website. And someone will...
FOOF email.
FOOF email, rather, not the website. I say that wrong every time. Thank you, Sally.
It's okay.
And someone will pass it on to me. Thank you.
Do you want me to drop a shell for all those that haven't shared?
Oh, that was it. Okay, she's reminding me too. I'm getting reminded. Oh, you would like a joy and concern? Come on.
You have, oh, good, come on. You want to drop your own shell?
Oh.
I'd like to just say that I would like to send support to Bruce's wife Kathy and his children and family, and that they're in our thoughts as well. And I'd also like to say hello to Nin, who is in New York. She says hello to everybody, and I just really appreciate her, and I hope she's having a good time. Thanks.
Thank you. So this one's for Nin.
So again, if anyone has anything else they would like to share, please share it with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. So, and Lori Fox, trust you're doing okay today. Keep up the good work, okay? So at this time, we're going to play a little musical interlude. I think this music kind of struck a chord with me based on what our speaker is talking about today, Reverend Kristen Psaki. I think the P is pronounced. I'm going to do it very softly, Psaki. And this is a piece performed by Jeff Lovejoy, and it's titled, Be Thou My Vision. So as we prepare for our message today, sit back, relax, and enjoy this beautiful music. Lovely, Jeff. I have to apologize to Reverend Kristen. I have your name spelled two different ways, P-S-A-K-I and P-S-A-R-I. So I'm going to drop the last name for now so I don't offend and just refer to you as Reverend Kristen. I hope you will accept my apologies. Reverend Kristen is with the Foothills Unitarian Church in Fort Collins. She has chosen to share with us a message on forgiveness, rooted in the fact that today, September 27th, falls at the end of the Jewish High Holy Day season. She will explore the ways leaning into the places ready for forgiveness in our lives will deepen our connection to ourselves and to each other. Reverend Kristen talk today is titled, My Apologies. This high holy season reminds us all who are listening to pause and to turn inward toward all the places within our lives that sit heavy in disrepair. But what really makes a good apology? And what exactly is forgiveness? Listen and find out, and do what you can to participate.
It's good to be with you, Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. The first wedding I ever did was alongside a rabbi. Rabbi White and I married my sister and my now brother-in-law, Adam. Adam is Jewish and the grandson of Holocaust survivors. His grandfather, who was alive and well at the wedding, survived Dachau, a concentration camp. partly due to his skills as a young watchmaker and the crucial role he filled of fixing the watches of certain Nazi officers. I've thought a lot about him recently because my sisters and brothers-in-law asked me if I would be the spiritual guide for my 4 nieces and nephews. This was just a couple of weeks ago. I have 2 sisters. Each has 2 kids under the age of 6. Only one set of kids is Jewish, or half Jewish, as was described to me, but all parties are open and eager to connect to the knowledge and wisdom of Judaism, which is actually quite Unitarian Universalist, to open ourselves up to the wisdom of the world's religions, not in a colonial, cherry-picking sort of way, although that has been our tendency as a tradition, but grounded in a real relationship. There are many Jews who are also Unitarian Universalist, including in this community, whose particular stories and knowledge no doubt do or could enrich this fellowship. And so I sat down about a week or so ago to think about what the first lesson could be with my nieces and nephews. And I knew it had to be about apologies. Because right now we are in the very heart of the holiest time in the Jewish calendar, the High Holy Days. Beginning last weekend with Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and ending with Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, which begins tonight at sunset. Atonement at one mint, a time of returning to realignment of being at one with yourself, with others, and with all life, capital L, which some call God. This hopeful landing at atonement with self and others and life on Yom Kippur comes after a rigorous practice during the whole previous week initiated by Rosh Hashanah of really good apologies, of pausing, surveying where amends need to be made from the past year, and taking action. It's an opportunity to focus on all the places where we've missed the mark in the last year, writes Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt. She continues, all the ways in which we've failed to live up to who we know we can be. Now, I wonder if this sacred invitation baked into the calendar to survey the last year of your life, to take stock of disrepair each fall. I wonder if this year many of us might get caught in the major upending events in our collective, in the very present disrepair in national and global landscape, in all the collective ways we've missed the mark. Or perhaps certain people easily and immediately come to mind in how they have missed the mark during the past year. But that's not what this is. This is an invitation for you, with your name on it, and asking about your very personal, particular, specific life and your behaviors and relationships of the past year, which I would argue are the very building blocks of the collective. The ways we tend to our own personal lives and relationships being inextricably linked to the whole. And as Reverend Victoria Safford puts it from our reading today, the task is not to patch things up, smooth things over, reach a compromise, or sweep mistakes and uneasy memories under the rug. The task is not to feel better. The task is ownership, she says. The goal is truth for its own redemptive sake. I want you to pause right there with me for a moment. Maybe even take a deep breath. And if you're willing, I invite you to bring someone to mind. Bring to mind someone in your life, or some moment or event, interaction from this past year. Maybe it was between you and a friend, you and a spouse or a partner, you and your child or a parent. I invite you to bring to mind someone you'd like to apologize to for this particular thing in this particular moment. Even if it was months ago, whether it feels like a really big thing or a really small thing. I'm not going to ask you to share it out loud with anyone, so really, within the honesty of your own heart, who is someone you'd like to offer an apology? And for what? Or someone you think you might want to offer an apology. My advice is to trust the first person and the first thing that came to mind. I knew that as I was writing this, I was going to have to share my own example. One immediately came up, and I didn't want to share it. I didn't like the way it made me look, which is often common. True apologies are so difficult, are often so difficult, because they're connected to, they point to, they expose our imperfectness as humans. The ways we inevitably harm each other, maybe even especially those we love. Apologies can be hard because they require us to look at ourselves, to look at parts of ourselves that we might not like or that we don't want to see. But in the words of psychologist Dr. Harriet Lerner, we're all connected. We all screw up, she says. We're all imperfect human beings, and for this reason, the need to give and to receive apologies will be with us until our very last breath, she adds. If you love other people and so you want to tend to relationships, she succinctly says, then I'm sorry are probably the two most important words. The example I didn't want to share with you involves my partner, Andy. She has very few sacred objects in her life, and one of them is this small, beautifully hand-carved wooden spatula made from the woods of North Carolina, a place that used to be home for her. This spatula is important, it's meaningful to her. One morning, we were struggling to communicate. She was resting on the couch on her first day off in what felt like a long time. She was tired. Work had been hard for weeks. We started to disagree about something small. I think it was literally about what to have for breakfast or when to have breakfast, and things escalated. Now, later that day, when we reflected on what had happened in the morning, when I was of clearer mind and could see that although we were arguing about breakfast, what I was really feeling was at a deeper level. Because she had been working so hard and so much recently, I had missed her. And the fact that she was resting on the couch that morning made me race off with thoughts and feelings that she was going to be too tired to do any of the fun things we had planned for our shared day. So rewind to that morning. And in the heat of the moment, I had this beautiful little wooden spatula in my hand. I was making pancakes, and I was standing in the middle of the kitchen, and I threw it on the floor, and it shattered. Within seconds, I wanted to throw myself on the rewind button and take it back. I couldn't believe what I had just done. Now, maybe the story you thought of is like this one. Something really tangible that you did or said to another. Something you knew quickly likely hurt this person. Or perhaps the story you're holding in your heart and mind is more complicated and less tactile than this example. I invite you to stay close to your story. The goal is truth for its own redemptive sake, writes Reverend Victoria Safford. I did this. I said this to you and it was wrong. I neglected this. I botched this. I betrayed you thusly. I demeaned you, whether you ever knew it or not. This is the truth in which both of us are living. And I ask you to forgive me, she writes. Offering a true apology from the heart and asking for forgiveness doesn't actually mean forgiveness will be given. It turns out this is not required for a good apology. Harriet Lerner actually wrote a book called Why Won't You Apologize? Healing Big Betrayals and Everyday Hurts. And in a conversation with Brene Brown about what makes a heartfelt apology, she continued to come back to this central piece that we don't have control over how an apology will be received. And we don't get to. And that, in fact, that's not even the point. Dr. Lerner actually has 9 essential ingredients of a true apology, which I encourage you to look up. And it includes things like keeping the focus on your actions and not the other person's response. A heartfelt apology does not get caught in who's more to blame or who started it. And it is, of course, offered from the heart, and not in a way that's sort of overdoing it. I also appreciated Lerner's perspective describing the power and critical role of heartfelt and true apologies, specifically within relationships where making mistakes and apologizing is shared and mutual and moves in both directions in some way or another. A few minutes after I tried to collect the pieces of Andy's wooden spatula scattered across the kitchen floor, I slowly walked up the stairs, feeling heavy and vulnerable, but also sobered by my own behavior. She was sitting at the edge of the bed with her own heaviness, sadness, some tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry, I said with what felt like my whole heart. I know how important this was to you, and I am so sorry I broke it so intentionally. I wanted her to say it was okay, that she forgave me, but she wasn't there yet. And although that was uncomfortable for me, I knew that there wasn't much else to say at that point, and I just needed to give her some space. The task is not about comfort. It is about truth, writes Victoria Safford. Awkward is irrelevant, she includes. The task is not about comfort. It is about truth, about wholeness and holiness, restoration, she adds. And I might add about renewal. Renewing ourselves through the power of speaking the truth, regardless of the outcome. And we each get to choose if and how we will apologize and ask for forgiveness, and if we will offer our forgiveness when asked. No right or wrong way, just what's true. And so in this season of heartfelt apologies, of forgiveness and being forgiven, I invite you to join me in a practice as I close this message. I think we need all the practices we can get these days, and this is a forgiveness practice. It's an adaptation of Stephen Levine's forgiveness meditation from Reverend Joanne Lipkin. So I invite you to maybe take another deep breath. To find a comfortable seat or a comfortable position, and to put your hand on your heart. You might close your eyes or find a soft gaze on the floor. Now bring into your heart the image of someone you wish to ask for forgiveness. Perhaps it's the person you were thinking of earlier. Open your heart to a compassionate awareness of the suffering you have caused them, intentionally or unintentionally. Find within yourself the humility and courage to ask for their forgiveness. Say to them, "For anything I may have done that caused you pain, my thoughts, my actions, my words, I ask for your forgiveness. For all those words that were said out of forgetfulness or fear or confusion, I ask your forgiveness." Don't allow any resentment you may hold for yourself to block your reception of that forgiveness. Let your heart soften to it. Allow yourself to be forgiven. Holding them in your heart, say to them, "For whatever I may have done that caused you pain, I ask your forgiveness." Now bring into your heart the image of someone for whom you feel much resentment, but that there is a crack open for forgiveness. Take a moment to feel that person right there in the center of your chest, someone for whom you feel much resentment, someone you know personally. Open your heart to the suffering you have endured by their transgressions. And in your heart, bring compassionate understanding to this person. Say to them, for anything you may have done that caused me pain, anything you did either intentionally or unintentionally through your thoughts, words, or actions, I forgive you. Slowly allowing that person to settle into your heart. No force, just opening to them at your own pace. Say to them, I forgive you. Gently, gently open to them. If it hurts, let it hurt. Begin to relax the iron grip of your resentment, to let go of that incredible anger. Say to them, I forgive you. And allow them to be forgiven. Now, finally, bring an image of yourself into your heart. Floating at the center of your chest, open your heart to a compassionate awareness of the suffering you have caused to yourself and others in this passing year. Bring your attention to the ways of being you have taken on, consciously or unconsciously, that have caused you to miss the mark in this passing year. Realize how those ways of being no longer serve you. Bring yourself into your heart, and using your own first name, say to yourself, for all that you have done in forgetfulness and fear and confusion, for all the words and thoughts and actions that may have caused pain to anyone, I forgive you. Open to the possibility of self-forgiveness. Let go of all the bitterness, the hardness, the judgment of yourself. Make room in your heart for yourself. Say, I forgive you to you. Letting your eyes open if they were closed. Amen, and may it be so.
Thank you, Reverend Kristen. Really appreciate your message. Apologies a pretty big deal, as my grandson would say. It's a pretty big deal, huh? And it's probably no coincidence that yours is the second sermon we've received lately that talks about apologies. Hopefully your unique message on Yom Kippur will deepen our resolve, as you say, to turn toward all the places within our lives that sit heavy in disrepair and offer apologies as needed. Many school-age children in our community still do not have adequate food to sustain them over the long weekend, and that's where food backpacks for kids comes into play. I ask you to share your hard-earned money with this organization as well as with FOOF, so we both may continue our missions. You may mail your contributions to our Post Office Box 2502, Florence 97439. You can visit our website and click on the donate button and pay through either PayPal or your preferred credit card. You can designate how much you want to go to FOOF and how much you want to go to the backpacks, and we'll take care of those details for you. So as we move forward with our offertory here at FOOF and in your home, I ask that you repeat after me. Divine love through me,
Divine love through me,
blesses and multiplies all that I am,
blesses and multiplies all that I am,
all that I give,
all that I give,
and all that I receive.
and all that I receive.
I am prosperous now, blessed be.
I am prosperous now, blessed be.
I invite Brooke to come back up. Ask her to extinguish the flame of our chalice as you do the same at home. Thank you. These closing words are from Clark Dewey Wells, titled, To Pass the Peace. To pass the peace is a revolutionary act. It means to trust the outsider we fear, to wish well those who have hurt us, and to forgive at last ourselves. To offer the blessing to those around you, it is to love your neighbor and yourself and to be at peace with God. Blessed be. So as we come to the close of another fabulous FOOF service, I'm going to invite Brooke and Catherine to come back up, and we're going to sing our peace song. And we invite you to, oh come on, stand up at home, wherever you're watching this, and sing it out and sing it proud, right? Pretend you're standing in a big circle. So we're going to sing the peace song. Are you ready, Ray? Let's cue it up. Come on, ladies. Woo!
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with love as our center, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be